Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we have the Kuat Transfer V2 3-bike platform rack. We'll take a look at how it fits our 2023 Hyundai Palisade. So the Transfer V2 is a popular rack because it is a Kuat Transfer Rack, which many people like for its design as well as stability, but this is going to be a more entry level, but also with a unique feature where you can make it easier for you to load and unload your bikes. There are some downsides to this rack though, especially with the Hyundai Palisade. For example, the Palisade does have a large hatch, and the Transfer has a pretty shallow level of tilt away. So if I needed to tilt the bike rack away and I wanted to get into the hatch, notice here that with only one bike loaded, I can put these arms off to the side. That makes it easier for me to step into the rack, hold onto the frame as I press this lever with my foot. Once that lever is depressed, the bike rack comes down to a tilt, but it didn't really go down that far. So, if you can see here, I'll stop the hatch from going up too high up. There we go. Because you can see that this would make contact with your bike, possibly damaging your bike or your hatch. So that's something to consider. If you need a quick and easy access, you're able to open up the hatch a little bit to grab something, but nothing all the way up unless you wanted to take off your bike completely. Anyways, we'll lift this up. It snaps back into place. If we put this away, we'll be ready to drive. So what types of bikes are you planning on carrying around? Because this has a good amount of versatility. It has a front wheel mount as well as a rear wheel strap, has a weight capacity of 40 pounds per bike. So most of your bikes fit into that, although if you have a heavy electric bike, you may want to consider something else like the Kuat NV or the Rocky Mounts monorail as an alternative for greater weight capacity. When you want to take your bike off, you start at the rear wheel strap. Press this lever here. That disengages the strap so that you can lift it up and out of the way. And I like to tuck it over to the side so it doesn't get caught up in our spokes. Then we come over here to the front. Push this out so that we can press this button, lift up on the hook, and push out. And now you can see the advantage of that goalpost design. You can step closer into the bike, grab it, and go. So this allows you to not lift as high up to go over clamps or masts or things like that. So if you do have a 40-pound bike, something worth considering. Notice too those grooves on that cradle, those are for your different tire widths. This can carry anything from 3 or small road bike tires all the way up to fat bike tires of up to 5 inches. There's also the cradles that can pivot around, and that should be for wheelbases of up to 50 inches. Extra large mountain bike frames, by the way. Some people do get concerned with that wheelbase since it doesn't fit this as well as if you had a true tray design like the Kuat NV or the monorail. So for those medium to large bikes, awesome extra large bikes, double check that wheelbase. Now, speaking of length, let's talk about how much length this adds to the back of your Palisade. I like to measure from the bumper to the end of the rack here. That's 42.5 inches. So kind of longer for your regular 3-bike platform rack. If you have a small garage or need to park into a tight spot, that's a measurement worth remembering. Another measurement is ground clearance. So end of the rack to the ground is 19 inches. You do have that slight shank rise from your hitch receiver, but be mindful if you need to go up steeper inclines like driveways or hills, and make sure you have enough ground clearance so your bikes don't hit the ground. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to fold this up. Remember that lever I stepped on earlier? Well, this time we're going to press on it. So press this down, lift up with your other hand, and fold this up against the vehicle. While it looks like it might come close, there's actually plenty of clearance there, enough for my hand to fit through. So taking some measurements again, closest point is 1.5 inches, well, 1.25 inches away. Furthest point is bumper to that lever, 11 inches. Big difference compared to when it was folded down. You'll want it in this position if you're just driving around town, you're not planning on going out for any bike rides just yet. You also don't want to take your bike rack off. With it in this position, you can also see that goal post design. So your tail lights are visible, but more importantly, your backup camera and your license plate is visible too. So if you do prefer driving around and going into reverse and not losing out on that backup camera, this might be a good option for you. You also have a 360-degree view on your Palisade though, so it might not matter as much. Now this fits into your 2-inch hitch receiver. You have a pin. This does not have a lock for the hitch pin, but rather uses an Allen wrench that's a security tool to tighten things down. Definitely something worth considering is purchasing a hitch pin lock as an upgrade. But all in all, the Kuat Transfer, while looking like a large bike rack, does have that open design to make it slightly easier to load your bikes up, as well as to see behind you if it is folded up. With the Palisade though, it was a bummer to see that the hatch could not fully open up unless you completely took the bikes off. So that is something worth considering. The bike racks I did mention in this video are the Rocky Mounts Monorail and the Kuat NV as alternatives if you have heavier bikes or want a deeper tilt away. But this right here right now was a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 3-bike platform rack on our 2023 Hyundai Palisade.